In 2004, two college friends Tim and Megan were recent graduates without a plan, so they opened a hot dog shop in the back of Trinity Cathedral in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 15 years and several food trucks later, they're still on a roll. Tim is traveling the country to consume a hot dog in every state. Subscribe to follow their adventures.
Do you want to say anything about taxi dogs?
So we're called taxi dogs because this place used to be a taxi stand.
Very cool.
We kept all that stuff in here, and we've been here about, 30 years.
Okay.
The same family owns the building. It's the only privately owned building here in the market, so it's really cool. Yeah, and I get to sell hot dogs every day.
Awesome. I just met Tommy from Taxi Dogs. We're going to try this hot link. There it is again. The hot link from Taxi Dogs. So yeah, it's a spicy dog, really good bread, nice and warm. Pork and beef sausage, live music. Seattle's pretty cool. Stone ground mustard. Oh wait, let's talk about who you are. Introduce yourself.
I'm your sister.
Yes. To the rest of the world, who are you?
Tammy.
Tammy. Talk a little bit about your background with hot dogs.
Well, I grew up with this as a brother, so I'm pretty exposed to hot dogs.
Exposed.
We ate them as a family when we were kids. There was that hot dog special that we watched on PBS that I feel like was the inspiration of all of this.
And what do you have in front of you here?
This is the Shorty dog with the works.
We're at Shortys on 2nd Avenue in Seattle, Washington. What does the works mean in Seattle?
Relish, onions, there's peppers, and there's something red which looks suspiciously ketchup-esque. I feel like I got a lot of topping and not a lot of hot dogs.
Now I'm with Carol, one of my sister's colleagues with REI. She has roots in New York. Carol here has family in Pittsburgh where I live right now, so we've got a lot in common. Even though we met yesterday, we've got New York and Pittsburgh ties. And there's actually a famous place in Washington, Pennsylvania called Shortys.
Yes.
That your husband knows well, is that right?
Yes, my husband grew up in Washington, Pennsylvania, and Shorty's was this iconic place in the mall that we talked about all the time. It was like a pilgrimage to go to Shorty's.
So here we are at Shorty's in Seattle.
Yes.
Quite a coincidence. Is there anything you want to try before you leave the camera? Do you want a bite of anything here? Yes, Seattle, Washington.
I'm intrigued.
Also Washington, Pennsylvania.
I'm intrigued
Parallels
by
are incredible.
this
This is the number 3.
The number 3, which has
The number 3.
tomatoes.
Tomato, chili? Is that what's going on here? I don't know.
And chili?
I don't know.
All right.
This is called the number 3. Yeah, no description. Just
No
the
description.
number 3.
Okay.
Clearly tomato.
Tomato.
Something else. She's gonna try it.
I don't think I've quite ever had tomato on a hot dog.
In Chicago, it's common to put tomato on a hot dog with relish. They actually call it dragging it through the garden.
Okay. All right. It's good. There's a nice spicy bite to whatever else is on here.
This is Carlin. I met Carlin in Pittsburgh when she stayed at my Airbnb, actually, and she's a Seattle native, right? Or
Yeah, I know nothing about hot dogs in Seattle.
that suggests that they're maybe overlooked, right? Like if you grew up
Yeah.
here and they're not a big deal.
Apparently they have cream cheese on them.
I've heard that.
I don't know.
If you're someone who's into hot dogs like me, you've definitely heard that Seattle puts cream cheese on their hot dogs. It's a thing you know, and
All
nobody
right.
else does that.
I'm also trying the number 3 since I ordered it. It's pretty dry.
Dry. It looks dry. Whereas this thing,
It does not look
spicy
dry.
cheese dog, it has an absurd amount of cheese whiz on it. I've never seen anything quite like this. A lot of jalapenos. This is what I ordered. It's a mouthful. I feel like we could take some of this cheese sauce, put it on there, and everything would be better. This bun is holding up. It's been sitting there a while. That's a lot of cheese sauce. Wow. It's pretty good. It's a more mild hot dog than some I've had. Because it's drowning in cheese sauce and jalapenos, the overall experience is quite spicy. The bun itself is like a little thicker and chewier than your typical hot dog bun that you would find, at least in the region of the country that I'm from. I don't necessarily think when this bun was created, the hot dog was what was intended to be inside of it. But it allows you to put this much cheese whiz on it, so I guess that's a plus. All right, so now we're here with Jesse.
Hey!
You live here now, is that right?
I do. I've lived here for 15 years.
And you directed me to Shortys, so how did you hear about it?
Yeah, Shorty's is famous for being like a bike messenger bar.
Okay.
It's famous for hot dogs and pinball, loud music,
Very
cool
loud
people.
music.
Yeah.
It's a fun vibe. If you could see, our camera and food is actually on top of a retired pinball machine.
I think this place is great.
These hot dogs cost like $5 to $6 each, I think. I was in Copenhagen once and I paid $12 for the hot dog, so it's all perspective. It's all where you come from.
You know that people in the Nordic countries love their hot dogs. That's what I.
They're cutting it just like we were talking about. This hot dog came from Monster Dogs. I got mine Seattle style, which means grilled onions and cream cheese. The cream cheese, they actually spread onto the bun before putting the sausage on the bun. And then they took the onions in which the sausages were marinating and briefly heated them over the open coal flame and then applied the onion to the sausage. This is the Polish sausage. It's kind of hanging out the bun. I noticed a good sausage often has a curve to it. Like what I try to get my staff to do, you always want to put it like so it's smiling instead of frowning, because it's so droopy otherwise. People often ignore this advice, but you can see why it's important here, because the hinge of a hot dog bun is not that sturdy, and when you get the weight structure all wrong, it falls apart. It's no good. It's still a very tasty hot dog. I'm not a big cream cheese fan, so I guess the best thing I can say is that the cream cheese isn't really taking away from my experience.
So this is a hot link. I get the cream cheese. I put sriracha on it. I like spice.
Sure.
That's what I do.
And the sausage itself, the hot link, would you say it's pretty spicy?
I would say it's spicy as well.
And then the cream cheese, are you noticing it, or are you just thinking about it because you got it on there? Like I felt like
it's not a
it was not really prominent or dominant.
overwhelming element to the hot dog. If I didn't know that it was on there, I might not notice it.
But it's a big thing here.
But I think that the hot link, Seattle style with cream cheese and onion with sriracha is a good choice.
I find that to be a thing in a lot of places. And, I'm on this Facebook group, Hot Dog Nation. I was just talking to one of the other Hot Dog Nation's members. He's actually started a company that's growing pretty rapidly. They're using the name of the man who invented the hot dog, Charles Feltman. He was just on the West Coast getting distribution out to Venice, California. And he went to Pink's, which is an iconic place in West Hollywood. I've been there too. And they just overload the New York style. They get all the condiments right. It's sauerkraut, it's sweet onion sauce, it's brown mustard, but there's like 10 times too much of everything. And he was saying that it's better to put too many condiments on your hot dog because you can always take them away. And I disagree completely. I think start with less, you can always add more. You put too much on, you ruin a bun irreparably.